frank. Very frank.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage and Real Estate Business Podcast for January 25th, a snowy Snowmageddon, January 25th here in Metropolitan Detroit. We have with us the 1%er, the 1% Club, the top originator in our area, in my opinion, the country, Scotsman's Guide, 1%er, top originator in the country, Becky Alley. How's that for an intro, Becky?
Wow, thank you. That was enough to bring sunshine on this Snowmageddon day. Thank you so much for that amazing intro. Thanks.
You got it. And also with us, the number one hardcore mortgage real estate business show co-host, going on 23 years, over 30 years in mortgage banking. Good morning, Mr. Harvey Freed.
Good morning, everybody.
Yeah, we are also joined by Thrive Realty's own. She's been on the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, none other than Kristen Bond. Hi, Kristen. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
And Kristen brings along a newbie to our podcast and hopefully to our Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, heard every Saturday morning from 9 to 10 on 97.1 FM. Miss Genevieve Craig. Good morning, Genevieve.
Good morning.
Yay.
Wow. We have a great panel this morning. Kristen and Genevieve are, of course, from Thrive Realty in Troy, Michigan. Troy is in metropolitan Detroit, for everybody who is not familiar with the Detroit metropolitan area. But also, what we want to talk about, finally, we've got our Metropolitan Detroit Snowmageddon Wednesday. They closed the schools last night. You know how it is. I'll be the old guy, don't walk on my lawn guy. I shoveled snow. I went to school. I walked 50 miles back and forth to school. It took me, ladies, it took me the same amount of time to get to work today than it did every other day. Now, Becky, you were out in it today. So what's going on here in Snowmageddon?
I agree. Like, obviously it's a little bit worse now, but when I opened up the window, I was letting my dogs out. I was like, pish posh on this weather forecast. I'm like, I'm more likely to get a poopy diaper is going to fall from the sky and hit me than freaking snow. But they get paid to be right 30% of the time, maybe. So.
And I guess it's better to be a little bit more cautious. You know, a lot of buses take kids to school and you don't want the buses getting stuck and you don't want anything to happen. But you know what? I'm all for it, but it doesn't stop us from going to work. And let's talk about that. Let's talk about it, Kristen. First, I want to go to you. You know, it seems like the last couple of weeks coming out of the Christmas holiday, you know how it is. People are a little bit slow getting back into the market. And I see you both shaking your heads. Yeah. But we had some momentum coming out of the holidays and coming through to this week. What's going on in your world in terms of what are you seeing? Because we have seen a little bit more activity, more mortgage applications, which means there's more offers put in on houses. What's going on, Kristen? And tell me what's going on in your world.
Yeah, so I think, well, here at Thrive, we are fortunate enough to have a full service transactions team. And I was just chatting with them, and we do a lot of communication in our internal chats and stuff like that. So we see when people are putting in offers and stuff like that. But I got some actual numbers from them this morning and you could feel it, but even to hear the numbers, like we've written 43 offers since Jan 1 and only 10 of those were in the first 10 days. So the other 33 of that has come more recently when I think all of us are starting to feel that upswing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's also, and Genevieve, your role there, you're a licensed realtor, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And you've been in the business for how long? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I've been in real estate for 3 years. I'm one of the lead agents here at Thrive. So we've got 4 lead agents that handle and manage all of the agents. So we've got them all broken up into 4 individual groups. So I handle a pot of people that we coach and talk with weekly, twice a week. And just kind of as far as what's going on in my world, I definitely agree with Kristen. I think after the holidays, people are ready to get back into it, especially when there's, some changes going on in this market and buyers have a lot more advantages now. So I've had personally a lot of clients reach out wanting to get started again and putting in offers. I've actually been seeing a couple of multiple offer situations happening recently too, which I was pretty surprised about, but that's coming back as well.
That's awesome. And Genevieve, you know, Kristen knows, Harvey and Becky know as well as I, the teamwork in a transaction is so important. I'm so happy that you guys have embraced the team concept, because one individual trying to get everything done, that's just forget about it. I might be old, but I'm not that stupid to think that one person can get everything done. You need a support staff. You need all the mechanisms in place to make that transaction go very smooth. So tell us a little bit about it, Kristen and Genevieve. How are you guys aligned in your team concept?
Yeah. So how it works is it's like a very cool full service brokerage that I don't see offered very many places. So as an agent, I'm able to stay with my clients and do the hard work of negotiating showings and taking care of them and their emotions, while our transactions team and our partners handle literally everything else on the back end. So I don't communicate with mortgage lenders. I don't communicate with title companies. I'm looped into all the emails to stay in communication, but they handle all of those main questions and problem solving to get us to the closing table as quickly as possible. So I'm able to amplify my business and be there for my clients, so I don't have to take time away from them to do all of that. It's really, truly is such a great blessing.
Yeah. So Kristen, in essence, what you guys do, your main focus is just on the client buying and listing real estate, and all the other stuff. You've got a team that supports those functions, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's truly what we did. And when we say team too, I think the really unique and cool thing about Thrive is we are all independent agents. So when we say team, it's not what most people in this industry think of as your traditional real estate team, where there's a team leader and everything falls under that person and that name and everything. Everyone here, like Genevieve is building Genevieve's business, right? She is Genevieve Craig, agent at Thrive. Right. So we're all independent, but the way it's structured is you have all the support tools and benefits and things like that you would maybe only see on a traditional team. And what that allows our agents to do is really expert and focus on the client and on the things that are income producing activities. This is like one of the only industries where you're expected to wear every single hat. It's like, you must be an expert negotiator. You must be an expert marketer, an expert salesperson, be able to read contracts, right? Like know the legal and attorney law kind of part of it. And that's just not unrealistic. If you go look at a normal corporate environment, it's not that way. You have a marketing department, you have that, but in real estate, it's not traditionally that way. It's all on you. So we're trying to kind of build that where you are an expert in the real estate portion, and we have people that do those other parts for you.
Yeah, we could spend an entire day talking about building teams and what should be delegated, what really needs to be focused. And I've got a whole manifesto based on all that. And it just seems to me that the people that are most successful are the ones that can delegate and concentrate on their area of expertise and let others go ahead and help facilitate the rest of the transaction. Now, you still have to be in touch with your clients, but you got to pick and choose what the right area is. And like you said, and we can talk about it later on, income producing for you, because there are certain things that produce income. There are certain things that don't. And I would rather focus on the things that produce it. This is the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Podcast, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding, powered by Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, equal housing lender 2289. I have to worry about compliance and legal and all that stuff. But Becky Haley, let's go on to you. Your world right now, you haven't stopped. As we mentioned, you're again for the 100th year in a row going to be recognized by Scotsman Guide, the top 1% of all originators in the United States. We grow your world every single minute, every single hour, every single day, because it's important that we go ahead and we support what's going on in your world. And that's why I like to talk about everybody's world is different. Everybody's area is situational. And Becky, in your world right now, we're seeing a lot of purchase transactions going on, aren't we?
Yeah, definitely. Genevieve and Kristen hit it, perfectly. And I actually like the fact that Genevieve even touched on handling the client's emotions, because real estate is such an emotional thing for people. And I feel like this year, more so than ever, emotions that I haven't seen in some of our clients in a really long time are coming, like really raging out of them, because they don't know what to do with all this stuff, even though, to anticipate it, right? The best in the business anticipate, they don't react. And there's been I'm like, oh, I wasn't expecting that out of that person, but it's okay. We're going to deal with it. But that allows us to be in that position. That's why we're the professionals. And one of the things I mentioned, I actually spoke at their office today, was my job is to identify the best program for the client. I don't expect my agents to know what it is, but I also gave them some key things to pick up on how they can identify what maybe the client might be looking for and how I can best suit them. And people are buying real estate. There definitely was a little bit of a pause, but also to Genevieve's point, some of my buyers are getting beat out because there's multiple offers. There was a moment in time where, I mean, it was even just 2 weeks ago. So when I say a moment in time, this real estate market is ever changing. So 2 weeks ago, you were seeing where the buyers were really, really winning and capitalizing. And now you're starting to see them get beat out again because more people are flushing this market. And the reality is that this has been a seller's market. It never really truly flipped. And we're going to see some serious over asking in the next couple of months, in my professional opinion.
Yeah, in a minute, before we go back to Kristen and Genevieve, in a minute, we're going to play fact or fiction with them. But first, Harvey, you've been in this market over 30 years. The market has experienced some significant changes from 2020 and 21 to now. Harvey Freed, we're in more of a normal market now. If you throw out 20 and 21 and maybe first quarter of 22, the market's a little bit more normal now, right? It's the home purchase market is a little bit more normal now. Wouldn't you say that or no?
Well, we want to think that it's a little bit more of a balanced market, but as Becky mentioned, there's no doubt. I mean, this changes quickly. Like we wake up the next morning and the interest rate's already gone up or it's gone down. So things do change rather quickly. And I really feel like what Becky said is right on the money there. The experts have been telling us the demographics say that there's millions of new buyers coming out of the woodwork. There's just the population, the way the growth is, the age group. There's going to be a lot of buyers. And then we've got that lack of inventory thing creeping in already for 2023. So it went from, hey, buyers are getting concessions to multiple offers literally within 2 weeks. And I think those numbers over at Thrive Realty are even showing that once we got through January 15th, it's been gangbusters.
Well, let's play a little bit fact or fiction now based on Kristen and Genevieve's experience, based on their situation right now in their world, because everybody's situation is different. So let's play a little bit fact or fiction. I've got 3 questions for you. Genevieve and Kristen, fact or fiction, home prices are coming down.
I think that's a tricky question because I think list prices are coming down. I don't know as far as home values really plummeting or things like that. I know there's absolutely a change and we're seeing a change, but with expectations from the last year or 2 years, sellers have very high expectations moving forward and still hoping on that pipe dream that they're going to be the multiple offer situation right now. So I'm seeing a lot of list prices dropping. I wouldn't say values are shaking too much, but there's absolutely been an impact.
There's been an impact. So you say that it might be a little bit more fact than fiction.
Yes.
Okay. How about you, Kristen? What do you say? Fact or fiction? Home prices are coming down.
Yeah, I agree with Genevieve. And what she was saying. And I think the tricky part comes in is, sorry, I think sometimes it also has to do with the property. And I say that because like I just had clients that were looking for a condo with a first floor master. They wanted a senior community, like 55 and up. I mean, something like that, you're still going to be able to get those higher prices, right? So I think sometimes that it's not so black and white. Because in our area, if there's certain things that you don't see a lot of, and then that comes available, obviously that's going to be able to garner a higher price.
I agree with that. And that's why we always say it's like baseball. It's always situational. All right, here with Thrive Realty's own Kristen Bond and Genevieve Craig. Question number 2. You guys ready? Fact or fiction? There are more listings now than a month ago.
I would agree. I think a month ago, being in the holiday season, we are absolutely seeing more listings pop on market. After Jan 1, people are ready to go. They want to move. They want to get into their new house. And the smart buyers and sellers are doing that before the spring market comes around to try and help decrease that competition aspect.
Absolutely. So I would say we agree that's a fact.
Absolutely.
Circle gets a square.
All right, number 3, question number 3. Becky, I like playing fact or fiction. Don't you like playing?
I mean,
fact or
listen,
fiction?
like we didn't pay them to say this stuff. I mean, literally, like they're literally taking it out of my mind and saying it.
It's the best. Right. And yes, we have not rehearsed this before. I love
Nope.
fact or fiction.
We literally
I really
pulled,
do.
we were literally pulled Genevieve. We're like, you're on this. And she's like, okay.
All right, this is the best. I love fact or fiction. All right, question number 3. Are you guys ready for this one?
Ready.
Now I think Genevieve might have given a little hint, even though she didn't ask the question. But you see, sometimes when you ask questions, it gives answers to other questions. You guys remember in school, if you just read a little bit and you ask questions, and there are other answers to test questions, and the other, okay, you guys remember all that. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Question number 3, fact or fiction? Sellers are less demanding than 6 months ago.
Fiction. They are absolutely not less demanding because now they have these expectations in their mind of what they should be getting or what they've heard has been going on.
Yeah.
And with the changing market, that's just not the case.
I mean, I think it's probably that they're more demanding, honestly,
Agreed.
because they remember, right, the things that have gone on in the past, say, year to two, and they're not thinking of all of the things that caused all that to happen and what put us in those situations. Right. And they're like, oh, well, my neighbor got this 9 months ago, which to them doesn't seem like that long ago. But in this market, we all know that's a long time. Like Harvey even alluded to, things can change by the day. So I think just it's hard for them when it's not what they do every day, like us, to feel like that shouldn't still be what they're able to get or do.
I love it. You guys, this fact or fiction, it is one of my favorite segments that we do on an occasional basis. But you guys, question number 1, which home prices are coming down? You said it's a little bit more fact than fiction. Number 2 was straight up fact. There are more listings now than a month ago, straight up fact. And then the cherry on top, fact or fiction, sellers are less demanding than 6 months ago. That's fiction. And we love that. And, we can get into that, but it is so true that people just want to hear what they want to hear. They don't understand really the changes in the market. And Becky, going to you, we have seen in select areas a lot more, because they have to, a lot more sellers concessions, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's everyone's experience is different. Whether it's the loan, it's the sellers that we're talking to, but the problem is they have this memory of what they heard someone else is their experience, and that program that their aunt got put in. I talked about it today. It's not the same that they're going to be put in. Just like the person that sold the house down the street in 2020 for $50,000 over asking, because that person decided to pay $50,000 over the appraised value. That's not on the piece of paper that they're looking at. So, people need to understand we're the professionals and they're hiring us for a reason. So that way we can make sure we're getting the top dollar, because we are selling advice, not price. And you can adjust it and you can tell someone what you want to hear, what they want to hear. But those are those agents that are doing their clients a disservice, because then you get that price correction, as they like to call it, because the seller drove the train to crazy town and now they have to correct it. And, you're like, well, told you so, whatever. But they do a really good job over here at Thrive. Obviously you can hear the way how well-spoken the agents are. You guys are the cream of the crop here, and the culture that is here, it really exudes inward out, and it goes out to their clients, and their clients are clients for life, and you can tell why.
Yeah, Kristen and Genevieve, on our side of the table too, we have seriously demanding clients, because, and I'm going to let Harvey address it because he is most apropos at addressing clients' demands. Okay, so they think just like your clients think that they should be getting top dollar like they did in 2021. Our clients still think mortgage rates are 3%. All right. So our clients, even though it's all over the news that the Fed has raised the Fed funds rate 5 times, okay, going to be 6 and 7, by the way, and that rates will probably never, and I don't use absolutes. In this case, I will. Rates will never be 3% on a 30-year fix and 2.5 on a 15 in our lifetime. Now, I can say that with conviction because I'm much older than you. So, if you take a look at my over-under, it's a lot less than yours. But anyways, Harvey Freed, you could address on the mortgage side, the client side, the clients are still stuck in this time warp that they think when we say rates are 6.75, they go, oh, that's really high. No, it's not high historically. It might be high relative to a 2-year snapshot in time. But Harvey, why do clients think rates are high right now?
Because they're higher than they were in the last couple of years, or their friends or family told them otherwise. The deeper conversation on that might be, Harry, that education piece that we always talk about. Again, you're throwing a number out there. You said 6 and something. But again, it's not that interest rate. It's what cost you to get that interest rate. So we're always striving and thriving to educate. And I think that educational piece is really in demand. We talked about it on the show last Saturday. It's a 50-50 world. I think I got a fact or fiction and for the ladies. And I think it's a fact that less than 5% of the buyers actually read their purchase agreement. And if you guys would like to, you're guessing that. So there you go, that educational piece. So when we really dig in the trenches, it's a lot deeper than that. It's more personal. And we really want to grab these folks and say, look, let us go over all these details with you. Let's make this buying opportunity here the best thing you've ever done in your life. Fun, exciting, knowledgeable. Be confident when you show up to a closing that you're really doing the right thing for your family.
I'm going to throw out some statistics here. Yeah, back.
I'm going to piggyback on something that Harvey said real quick. So as far as the education piece, right? People ask about the rate because they don't know what else to ask about. And that's really what it is about. You know, like they're just like, what's the rate? What's the APR? Well, people don't know. You ask about an APR, but if a lender is charging an application fee isn't included in the APR. So their fees are actually higher, but their APR is artificially low. So there's all these things that people just don't know any better. And when you're getting these step up buyers, you know, they went through the process the first time. They have no idea what even happened. They're like first time home buyers all over again. So that education piece, I definitely agree with you there, Harvey. Education is free. When you deal with us, there's free consultations. We'll sit down face to face. You want to text me, you want to call, whatever. But you need to be educated, and more so than ever, that is what's going to separate the players from the pretenders in this industry, and really hand-holding clients.
Well, one of the mantras that we've reintroduced, and Becky and I are well aware of this mantra. We're not selling, we're helping. Okay, we don't sell anything. We just try to help people. And if you're not selling and you're helping, you're just turning that transaction into a better transaction. If you come off salesy, and look, I'm a terrible salesman. I can admit it, but I've been doing this for a long time. I've been pretty good at it because I don't want to sell anybody anything that they don't want. What I want to do is I want to help somebody succeed, and I want them to succeed for the long term in everything they do. I'm not looking for a temporary snapshot in time success ratio. I look long term and big picture, because if you take the long term and you're helping people succeed, it will come back to you tenfold. So that's just the way we are. I've seen Becky do it on a day-to-day basis. The team here at Capital Mortgage Funding, Harvey Freed, you ladies, just by having you and talking to you today, you can tell it's more of a conciliatory relationship. Harvey, you can look that up. It's a conciliatory relationship where you're helping and you're not selling. But let me throw some stats, and I want to get back into Kristen and Genevieve's world a little bit. Some stats, 2022 over 2021. Just in metropolitan Detroit area, they listed the top 10 areas in Michigan where home prices have jumped year over year from 21 to 22. We had 5 in metropolitan Detroit.
Oh, good.
First was South Lyon, up over 132%. That came in at number 1. Number 4 was right where Kristen and Genevieve are sitting in Troy, Michigan, up over 23%. Down in Becky's area where she lives, up 21% in Trenton. Madison Heights was up over 16%. And of course, the great city, home of the Berkeley Bears, Berkeley, Michigan, up over 13%. So, Kristen and Genevieve, let me go back in your world for a second. What does the rest of your winter, as we sit here on January 25th, and going into spring look like for you two ladies?
I think it looks like we are about to see a lot of activity going on. I'm already starting to see it. So I know that as the winter continues and people start getting very serious about home purchases, knowing that we're in a changing market on the buy side, especially, we are going to be seeing quite a few transactions. We're going to be seeing a lot more offers written in the next few weeks here, and especially getting into the spring market when everybody wants to wait to sell and buy. When the weather's nice, kids are out of school, it's just going to explode. And I can see exactly what Becky's talking about and getting into all multiple offer situations all over again.
And I think
Awesome.
plays back to, like, we brought up education a couple of times too. I think this plays into also, who are your educated agents, right? Like, who's actually learning about the shifts, learning about how the market's affecting it. So you are having those educated conversations and guiding your clients, right? Whether that's on the buy side or the sell side. So I think that there are benefits to being, whether it's with a team or a brokerage, or right, where you're getting that higher education, you're talking about things like how the economy and how the market and everything affects these clients, because we talked about it. Anyone can go into a listing appointment and tell the seller, yeah, okay, let's list it for what you want to list it for. But again, then you're fighting that battle, price corrections, price adjustments. And if you go in with all the right knowledge, you're going to set yourself apart from the other listing agents they might be sitting with, right? And being, here's the honest truth. Here's what's coming. Here's what the market's looking like. I'm going to be real with you. Anyone can come tell you, yes, I agree with you. Let's list your house for what you think you should list it for. But having that education piece behind it, I think, is a big, big differentiator for who's going to do well in this market coming up in this spring and who's not going to.
Absolutely. Based on
Yeah.
market statistics, providing that information. And we encourage our sellers to ask those questions too. When you meet with another agent, if you're meeting with another agent, ask them, what are their predictions? What are their expectations? What have they been experiencing? So they have some real answers to work from, instead of, this is what you want for your house, you got it, and sign you off for a year and have an unhappy client throughout that whole time period.
Yeah, this is the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Podcast. Today is Wednesday, January 25th, 2023, in the middle of our first snowmageddon of the wintertime. We're here with Kristen Bond and Genevieve Craig from Thrive Realty, along with Harvey Freed and Becky Alley. I am Harry Glantz. Becky Alley, I'm going to start. Last words of the day. I'm going to go to you, Harvey. Give the ladies the last words on what they think, what they're predicting going on for the future, because we always like to hear that. Becky Alley, what say you?
I say that spring is definitely coming early this year. We've been in a 365 real estate market here in Michigan for quite some time now, and it's going to continue to be that way because people are seeing the value in home ownership over renting. As far as the professionals in the industry, 30% are going to get out, 60% are going to struggle, and 10% are going to thrive and really stand out. And you're seeing that. Some of my buyers have put in offers and they haven't even received a phone call from the listing agent in days. What does that tell me? These are part-time agents doing part-time service, and it's doing a disservice to the market. And that's true. I mean, I literally have 3 people where they have no idea what's happening and it's 2 days later. And that's just unacceptable, because you can't, these are people's lives. There's other offers they could be making if you're not going to accept theirs, and speed to respond is key. So if you're in the market, you have to realize, if you're a real estate agent, you can't do the same old things that you were doing. You have to fish a little bit. You're going to have to work a little bit. And if you're doing the same old things, the reality is the market's changed and your business cannot be the same, because it is ever changing. It is ever evolving. And the ones that do not have their ears to the ground are going to be exploited. And you can really see that. Like I said, it's the 25th of January, and you can see the ones that really don't know what's happening and they're staying the same as the market is changing. They need to get out of the way and make room for the real professionals.
There's no substitute for working every day at your craft. Harvey Freed, last words of the day, my man.
Yeah, I just got a lot of buyers calling me since we started this, so it's eating up already, folks. Get that strong approval letter, get the knowledge, get the confidence, deal with real professionals. Look, folks, I don't know any other way to say it. 90% of the people are faking it. Deal with the 10% that are really out there looking to close transactions and doing it right.
Thanks, Harvey, for that. Kristen Bond, Genevieve Craig, last words for the day. Loved having you on the podcast. Could have spent easy another 2-3 hours.
Thank you for having us. It was a really great conversation, because I think this is super important information for anybody interested in the real estate market when it comes to buying, selling, or investing. With how many changes are going on, it's so important to be informed, which I know is just beating a dead horse at this point, but I think it's neglected constantly. So we're really excited to share this information and allow our clients to be educated to make these proper decisions.
Yeah, I think
Kristen?
Yeah, and I kind of touched on it, but I think, just being very transparent and helping them know the questions to ask other realtors so they can start trying to figure out who is the professional and who's not. Because to them, they don't even know what questions to ask, right? So for us to come from a place of abundance and go, yeah, go interview 3 other agents, right?
Mhm.
Here's what I want you to ask them.
Mhm.
And I think that's going to really help, whether it's us or not. It's going to help guide people to the right people who are educated and truly know what they're doing in this industry.
There you go.
Yeah, love having you on the podcast. And we always say the following. If you line us up, I like to go on the road. I like to meet people. And if you line the 3 of us up, if you line Becky, Harvey, and I up today, and you put us in a room and you interviewed us, we feel, like you said, we come from a place of abundance, experience, and most importantly, doing the right thing and coming from the heart. We want to help people. And you know what? I don't have a problem saying, hey, go somewhere else, check them out. And if you think they're better for you, then that's fine, because it's got to be a fit. Ladies, it's been a pleasure. Really loved having you on. It's been a blessing for us to have you on. This is the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Podcast, joined by Genevieve and Kristen from Thrive Realty in Troy. Also, top 1%er of originators in the country, Becky Alley. Thank you, Becky, as always. And Mr. Harvey Freed, the co-host of Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Podcast, along with Becky Alley, heard every Saturday morning from 9 to 10. I'm Harry Glantz. I'd like to thank Roberto Beauchene, our producer director. He's in the booth. He puts on this production every week and the show for us. So with that, on a January 25th Snowmageddon, we are out, and we'll see you soon.